Hello and welcome back to the Emberclaw Clan of Paws Reach and, of course, RimWorld. Where we last left off, we just finished off our research for both agriculture and Tribalwear, and we want to start getting some plants planted because even though we have all of these ducks up here, which I did figure out why I couldn't get to the auto slaughter, it was because I had the numbers tab turned on for animals, so we can sort that out in a little bit. But before we get to that, I do want to set up some seeds, specifically in this growing zone right here. It's nice and close to our little starter base, so I figure it's the perfect place to start. Now, to do that, we are going to need to gather some things, and I had a little bit of a look around the map. In terms of rice, we only have 2 rice plants on the map, and unfortunately, if we come into their info here, their harvest yield is only 6. So the maximum amount of rice we can actually receive from these 2 plants is 12. And that is not enough to make seeds. So I think the next best option is going to be tomato plants. Tomato plants are really good because you don't harvest the whole plant at once. The plant grows up, it then produces fruit, you can harvest that fruit, and then it produces fruit again. At least I believe that is how it works, so that is what we are going to go for. So to figure out where all of these are, I'm just going to click on one of them using this search menu. I'm going to select similar, zoom all the way out, select the entire map. We have 11 tomato plants across our map, and I'm going to say harvest fully grown. The only other thing that we need to do is we need to go into our cooking here and say, for the moment, don't use tomatoes. Because we really need them to make seeds. So we can now, once we've harvested some of them, we can go into this plant bundle thing and say make some tomato seeds, and then we can go ahead and plant those. So that is going to be fantastic. The other thing we unlocked, of course, is Tribalwear, and I would like to go ahead and make some war Tribalwear. I'm going to do this 1 per person plus X. That plus X is going to be +1, so we'll make 6 in total just so we always have a spare. And say count equipped, don't count tainted, look everywhere, and I want it to be between 51 and 100% hit points. For right now, I'm going to say inequality. As we get better crafting people and more resources and more time, I will increase this at some point. But for right now, that is going to do us well. Now, in terms of our animal pen, I would also like to set up slaughter on our animals. So currently we have 9 ducks, 3 adults, 6 females, and no kids. That's all well and good. I think, honestly, I'd like 3 adults of each gender. Should be enough for our needs. We could maybe increase that to, let's go for 5 of each. Why not? And then in terms of our kids, baby ducklings, I would like 5 males and 5 females. Anything over those limits will get slaughtered. So if we have 6 young males, 1 of them will get slaughtered. If we have 5 male adults and then someone grows up to be an adult, 1 of them will get slaughtered. That's basically how that works, and that will keep us with a somewhat consistent supply of meat. We'll also be getting eggs and things like that, so that is going to be fantastic as well. It might even be worth, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, keeping only 3 male adult ducks and doing like 7 female, 3 male adults and 7 female adults, just so we get some unfertilized eggs in there as well that we can also use to cook up. So with all that being said, we do have a medical emergency on Toxic. That is just the blood loss. He'll be fine. And I think we are good to start running the game. I don't believe there is anything else that we need to worry about just yet. No. But we can go ahead and start prepping, at the very least, this spot here. So I'm going to go for the match zone. I'm going to click on my fertile soil, and then I can just expand that out, and it will only select fertile soil. Fantastic quality of life improvement there. For right now, we're not going to be able to sow anything because we don't have any seeds available to us. All of these settings are going to stay as they are, but we do need to make sure we go in here and turn on growing for a couple of our pawns. So Medic and Dragon are going to be our 2 growers. Medic only has skill 5, but that's going to be just fine, I think. I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem at all. We've also unlocked mining, which we should get started on sooner rather than later. So I'm going to put this as a priority 4 for Alarius for the moment. just so that if he's got nothing else to do, he can go ahead and mine some of this compacted steel over here. We're just going to mine vein, and we'll get some of that going, because we will need that very, very soon for kitchen things. I don't think we've unlocked them yet. But once we unlock construction, we'll be able to build like a stove and a butcher's table and all of that good stuff. The only other thing that we need to do is go ahead and give ourselves a butcher spot so that we can start butchering our animals, and we want to do that forever. And finally, before we unpause the game, I'm going to manage our food policies, and I'm going to say, hey guys, no longer eat corpses, because that's just going to make you sad. So that should be good to go. We'll let this run for a little bit while we get some of that work done, and then we'll come back from there. All right, we have our very first infection. Toxic has an infection. I'm not 100% sure where they got it from. Probably from this stab wound. So that is hopefully going to be tended by someone good. That is going to be Medic doing that tending. We only have 4 herbal medicine at the moment, so we might need to set up a queue to harvest a little bit more of that. But otherwise they should be fine. So you are already trying to tend to Toxic there, and we will go ahead and set a command to harvest some more fully grown wild heal root, which will help us out in the long run. Hopefully Medic can do a decent job here. Quality 45%, not too bad. It looks like the infection is only just being suppressed by the tending. So the way that this works, for those of you who don't know, the number up the top there, infection minor 10%, is how bad the infection is. And then right down at the very bottom of that box is immunity, 11.7%. We need that number down the bottom to get to 100% before infection does. And that is how that works. So the higher quality tending you do, the faster their immunity will go up. And of course, the better medicine, the better as well. Medic over here is very unhappy. He is recreation starved, ravenously hungry, tired, bursting to go to the bathroom. It's dark, he's sweaty, he ate without a table, he's uncomfortable, had disturbed sleep, uninspiring tribal gathering. He has a little bit of initial hope and encouraging tribal gatherings and no expectations, but he's still not really doing all that well. There might be something we can do about one of those conditions. The fact that they're not eating food at tables. We can go ahead and claim this table over here, even though we can't build them yet. We can go ahead, claim that, and throw that down somewhere. Where that's going to be, I don't really know. We can just throw it down here for the moment. That should be fine. And then we can jump into our furniture here and say sitting spots around there. So they're going to be sitting on the floor, but they will at least be able to use a table to eat. So that should be nice. We've also spotted a fresh cougar. We want to haul that immediately because that is now an actual source of food that we can use. So they should bring that down here, butcher that up, and then we can go ahead and cook that up as well. And I'm seeing 40 tomatoes in here. Have they gone ahead and built those seeds yet? No, because I didn't queue it up. So we are going to say packaged tomato plant seed bundle. That will use 20 of those tomatoes to make seeds. I'm going to get someone to do that immediately if I can. Yeah, you prioritize that. And once those are made, we can then start using tomatoes in our cooking again. So that is now made. We can come in here and say tomatoes are turned back on for both of these. And that will be absolutely fantastic. And the other thing we can do is we can now, well, no, not quite yet. We can get Ilarius here to open up that bundle. And that gives us tomato plant seeds. The bundle contained a host of seeds, enough to sustain a tomato plant farm. Your faction can now grow tomato plant. Absolutely fantastic. We can jump in here and we can choose tomato plant. So minimum growing skill to grow or to plant, I believe this is supposed to say, I can't see the whole thing, is 5. Growing time is 7.2 days, but its lifespan is 57.6 days, and they give us 10 per harvest. So that is absolutely amazing. If we have a look at here, the gameplay effect is tomatoes won't be destroyed on harvest, similar to fruit trees. So they should all start planting that up in the morning. We should actually probably wake them all up and do another tribal gathering before they go to bed and see if we can get some more research complete. Now that everyone is up and we've got a few meals to go around, I am actually going to change these a little bit. I am going to count the ones that are currently equipped, just so that we can get a better idea of how much food we actually have. And I'm going to do that for both of them. So we currently have 4 out of 20. That's not enough, but it's something. And if we have a look up here, where did that badger go? There is a badger. They're currently sleeping, so this is a perfect opportunity to draft everyone. Throw them basically as close as we can get them to that badger, hopefully before it wakes up. They should all slowly but surely make their way over here. And then this badger is going to get a rude awakening as we throw all of the rocks at it. And it's down. Perfect. We're going to undraft everyone. The badger did want to take revenge, but it didn't get a chance. And we can say finish off. I'm going to give Toxic that responsibility. We'll finish off that badger. And that will be also a little bit of extra meat for us as well, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. There's also a table over here that I didn't see before, so I'm going to deconstruct that. Hopefully someone gets moving this table at some point soon. We might even make them do that just because they don't seem to want to. So Ilarius, what are you currently doing? You are hauling duck egg to stockpile. Once you get back, I will send you over to do the thing with the table over here. You are back, and which table was it? Doesn't matter. Oh, that's currently being done by Greg. Never mind. It's being completed already. All right. It's rough. Good news is Toxic's infection is now at 95% immunity, and it looks like they will live. We do have a little bit of heat stroke, which we really can't do all that much about. How is our crafting looking? You are doing construction first, then crafting. Okay, that should be fine. We should slowly but surely start seeing some Tribalwear being made. Do any of you guys have anything that you shouldn't? Yes. Wooden melee shields are not great, especially when we are using throwing rocks, because they have a -8% aiming accuracy and -20% reload speed. Just overall, not something we really want to put on a ranged person. So I am going to go into my apparel policies, into my default, and I'm going to say shield. Specifically, the melee shield is not allowed, so you should put that down. But I think everyone else's gear that they've found over their time is going to be absolutely fine. Yes. Yes. The other thing that I do want to do is go into this loadout, and I want to say, if you can, carry 2 meals at a time, just to stop you going back and forth so much. But we now have this table, and they are eating at said table, so their needs should be a little bit better. It still says 8 without a table. That should expire at some point, and that should be much better. All right. That's interesting. A herder named Jot has arrived and wants to join the colony. He is willing to contribute, but will not leave voluntarily, claiming to have nowhere else to go. You can choose to turn him down and send him away. However, your colonists will be disturbed at sending someone away in need. We don't really have the food for them right now, but the extra hands might mean that we can get extra food. So I'm going to accept that for now and just see what he's all about. Okay, that's unfortunate. They are 13, so they are young. They have a little bit of melee skill, which is not bad. They have a little bit of animal skill. Otherwise, they're kind of not great. Global certainty loss factor is times 50% and times 25%, so that's not great. Yeah. Do they come? Well, they come with a great bow, but no arrows for it. I think we can make arrows though. And they have 3 simple meals, some camel wool plants, steel plate armor, which is wild. How does that do stuff? So that is pretty decent actually against sharp and blunt. A little bit of insulation from the cold. Worn bulk is 10.5 and melee dodge chance is -0.2. So that's actually not bad at all. We really need to designate a melee pawn at some point. If we have a look at our numbers here, Jot is actually currently the best at melee, so we might leave them on that, and then we'll switch his great bow over to Toxic. and that might be the best plan. So let's go ahead and I'll figure out all these loadouts and we'll come back in a little bit. So I made 2 new loadouts. We have the melee loadout, which is just an Iqua, and then we also have the great bow loadout, which is a great bow plus 15 arrows for said great bow. So Jot is going to get the melee loadout, and I believe it was Toxic who had the best shooting skill. Yes, Toxic is going to get the great bow loadout. But we do need to go into our crafting station here and say make stone great arrows. I would like to do that until we have let's say 30 of those. Count the ones that are equipped, and that should be just fine. That's double what they need. And I would like that to be our first priority, because I believe Toxic is also our main hunter, so that will actually come in handy. Jot is now here. They do already have a bed. I don't believe there's anything else we really need to change except for their schedule. I'm just going to copy and paste that schedule and just double check quickly whether or not this guy can use a natural focus. So if we get a focus, they can do natural, so they will also join everyone else in their meditation around the Animatree. So with that all being said and done, we are going to let this run for a little bit. Oh, sorry. One more thing I need to do is all of their tasks. So I'll get this done and be back in a little bit. Alright, we discovered weapons, encouraging tribal gathering, absolutely fantastic, 8 points per. Let's close those. We are getting attacked immediately from just the one enemy over here. They have a little bit of a knife. They are somewhat protected, but not too bad. They have really good skills. It's a shame that we can't recruit them. We actually couldn't, even if we did have a prison. We could make them a slave, but we can't build walls yet anyway. They're an animal hater. They have 13 mining, 16 cooking, 7 plants, and 7 intellect. That's wild. But they are attacking immediately, so we are going to go ahead and draft absolutely everyone. And I think we can go ahead and meet them halfway in our general murder pond. Hopefully they don't go ahead and set fire to anything. And it looks like now that we have Toxic, do you have any arrows? Of course you don't. Of course you don't have any arrows. Why would you? Jot, why are you stopped? Keep going. You should actually be right up the front. And yep, they set a fire. That's unfortunate. So Jot is going to be our main attacker here. They're going to melee with Lilia. While everyone else hopefully continues to shoot. Which they might not, because they might be blocked. So let's move a couple people around over here so that we can get nice clean shots. And they're down. Perfect. Jot didn't even take any damage thanks to that armor that they're wearing. Absolutely perfect. We will go ahead and undraft everyone. Jot can go ahead and strip them. And now that we have someone... No, their melee is not 6 yet. Once Jot gets to 6, we can start actually finishing these guys off. But for right now, we're just going to leave them there and hope that they slowly pass away. We also have cloth padded armor here, which might be worth throwing on someone, but we're just going to let them figure that out for themselves. They'll go put out that fire and we should be good to continue on. We also have started planting all of our tomato plants. They'll take a little bit to grow. In the meantime, we're going to continue fishing. We're going to continue eating some ducks. Yeah, struggling for food, but otherwise we're doing okay. The reason we weren't doing crafting is because Ilarius was on fishing duty. So we need to move fishing for them down to at least a 4 so that we can actually start crafting some arrows for Toxic to be able to do some damage at a much better range. If we have a look at Toxic over here, this currently isn't equipped, but if we equip it and we just draft them real quick, you can see that range is so much better than the throwing rocks we were having before. So I'm going to undraft him and let him continue on. All right, lots just happened. We had another uninspiring tribal gathering. It is what it is. We are slowly but surely getting closer to construction. Weapons, there really isn't that much I want to build, which is why I didn't really address it all that much. We have a quest available to us. We have Recurve is approaching with a child in tow. They claim to have escaped an August harvesting operation. They want to stay for 7 days so they can rest up and regroup. In return, they offer to work and fight for free. If we make them happy, they might join us. We really don't have the food right now, so I am going to decline that. We also got a go frenzy for Jot. He'll move faster for the next 8 days, which is going to be fantastic. And we have new lovers. Dragon courted Medic by mentioning his loyalty. Medic became aroused and agreed to become Dragon's lover. So we can go ahead and deconstruct those single beds and go ahead and, whoop, wrong buttons. Go ahead and give them a double bed. Medic and Dragon are now sharing a bed. We will also rename Jot at some point, but I would like to do that once they grow up. Do they grow up at 13 or 15? I don't see... Where is Jot? Show me Jot. Maybe they're not considered a kid. I swore this was considered a child. But I don't see the things over here, so maybe they're not. I guess we'll rename Jot now then, so let me just spin the wheel real quick and I'll come back. Alright, Jot is going to be renamed to Anders Osthus, I'm not 100% sure, and you are going to be nicknamed Anders. Accept. Welcome to the clan, Anders. If you would like to be part of the clan, go ahead and become a Golden Panda member or above. The link is down in the description below. You'll also get early access to all of our videos and all of that good stuff. But I'm going to let these guys do their thing for a little bit here. There really isn't all that much micromanagement we need to do right now, apart from potentially going and hunting something, which I might actually set up because we are still running really low on food. So I'm going to jump into the wildlife tab here, sort by meat amount, and then I'm going to see what has no chance of attacking me back. It looks like that is going to be donkeys. So I will go ahead and hunt one male and one female, leaving a male and female on the map if we would like to recruit them later. And then we might just go ahead and see whether or not you have arrows. You do. And we might stop you from fishing, and you should go and hunt. Let me just check our priorities here. Hunting is level 2, so is fishing. So yeah, you should go and hunt. We will follow Toxic around as they try and hunt this donkey. So we'll be back in a little bit. Speaking of things that need to be hunted, we have a local platypus that has gone mad. Let's stop watching you. That is you. Thankfully, everyone is already here, so we'll draft all of you guys. Get you all to come back sort of in this region, and hopefully we can take it out before anything goes super wrong. And we do. So we will finish you off, and that should be fine. Extra meat. Our second hunt is about to happen. Hopefully we can get this done. That great bow is making all the world of difference. As soon as this is complete, I will also hit the home key just to allow everything on the map, because we do have some stone arrows lying around that we can collect. Why did you stop hunting? You can please... Toxic, what are you doing? You're fishing? Is this donkey downed? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, that's fine. I guess that's okay. The donkey's not downed though. Stop. Draft? Oh, you ran out of arrows. I see. The donkey should eventually die though, so that is fine. We'll just let you continue on then. And I will continue on with what we were doing. It still looks like we have very little food, but like I said before, we are now having people carry 2 meals in their inventory. That's just going to help out when feeding prisoners or sick people and things like that. So we actually do have 9 out of 24 meals available, which is a much better situation than when we were in before. So that is good news. Another raid is coming our way, the Kamga Pact. They have a recurve bow, which actually has pretty decent range, so we might have to fight these guys a little differently than we normally would. We might try and do it around a piece of cover so that we can draw them in nice and close to us. hopefully that's going to be okay, but they're going to prepare for a while before they attack. So with that being said, I might just quickly set up a new zone. I'm going to manage areas. Area 1, I'm going to expand, and I'm going to say you guys just hang around generally in this vicinity for a little bit. I'm going to manage that area and say close, just so no one wanders too far away. That is going to be good, because if someone ends up over here, they might end up catching them, and that would be bad. They're just hanging out over there. So I'll come back once they begin their assault. And they are beginning their assault, so we will go ahead and draft everyone. And where are they coming from? Right there. So I might just, for right now, I'll throw everyone down here. Excuse me, Anders, why are you not going over there? You're watching for targets. Can you just please go where I tell you to go? My goodness. Alright, they are coming in from this direction, so we're going to swing around the other side of this. Dragon is very, very slow because they have food poisoning. Okay, that's dangerous. I'm going to throw Toxic right there so that they can at least start getting off some shots and protecting Dragon a little bit. Once Dragon is around that corner, we can now bring Toxic back to draw Weasel in a little bit more. They are running away, so that's fun. I'll bring Toxic back out. Toxic can maybe go and get Weasel. Yeah, there we go. Get another shot or two off before they come back, and then we'll run away again. They are healing themselves, so we'll go ahead and bring Toxic back out once more. I did not mean to hit that. Alright, this isn't working. We might have to just... Dragon, you get unrecruited because you're kind of useless at this point. Let's bring everyone in nice and close so that we can get some nice clean shots off. Toxic, go ahead and you're out of arrows. Pick up arrow, pick up arrow, pick up arrow. Why are these plasteel arrows? Where did you get plasteel arrows from? Do you have plasteel arrows? Oh, you do. That'll be nice. Anders is not my melee guy. Where'd my melee guy go? That was... Oh no, it was Anders. Yeah, I would like you to melee attack you. Toxic, once you've got some arrows, go ahead and re-equip your great bow. We have 2 arrows, 3 arrows. You now no longer have a shot. So come in here. You go there, and you go there. You are now shooting. You still can't shoot that. So you go there, you are shooting. You are coming up to here, and they're down. Maybe a little bit too much micromanagement on that one, but no one got hurt, so that is the positive. In terms of your bio, you've got cooking. You're actually pretty good. You do have animal lover, which is a little bit annoying because we do slaughter quite a lot of animals. But the good news is we now have a recurve bow and plasteel arrows, which is fantastic. Also a quiver, which should definitely be equipped on Toxic up here. So I'll go ahead, select everyone, undraft. Toxic here can go ahead and strip Weasel. Weasel will naturally bleed out in 2 hours. I'm just going to get at a quick little haul everything in this general vicinity somewhat urgently. Not the rocks though. Just that'll be fine. And that should be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I can also go back into the schedule and say everyone can go anywhere again, because otherwise they would stick around here and not do very much at all. So I'll let them do some stuff for a little bit and we'll come back. Alright, Medic has gotten food poisoning, which is unfortunate. Not really much we can do about that just yet. But Toxic has also collapsed because they refuse to go to bed. It is what it is. I've also noticed that we are bringing unfertilized duck eggs down here, and I don't think we want to do that. So I'm going to jump into storage, search for eggs, and I'm going to say, sorry, we don't want to bring fertilized eggs down here. So I'm going to turn that off. So all of our fertilized eggs stay in the pen. And then I will also, now that we're a little bit better off for food, I'm just going to quickly check whether or not I turned that back on. I did not, so that's good. I don't think I did it on this one either. Yeah, no, we're good. So we will now no longer eat fertilized duck eggs, they will just go straight into here to produce more ducks, which will be fantastic. But I do want to start a tribal ritual as soon as all of those ducks end up back in that pen. So as soon as Medic's done with his job there, we'll go ahead and start a new tribal gathering. All right, we finally discovered construction with an encouraging tribal gathering. That is going to be so good. We unlock so much stuff with that. We can now build roofs. We can get our stuff inside so it doesn't rot as fast. But the downside is we are being attacked. And they have a hatchet, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now, some of these guys had food poisoning. Who was that? Medic has food poisoning. Everyone else is fine. So everyone but Medic is going to get drafted here. If I can unselect Medic, draft them all up, and I'm going to bring them over by the Animatree because, again, we have this river here that can help us slow down our enemy. So we'll get everyone in place. It looks like he's going to go the long way, which is kind of annoying. I'll bring everyone up to here instead so that we can sort of meet them in the middle. Who was the last one? Is that everyone? Yeah, that's everyone but Medic, so that should be fine. Pause, and we'll get Anders here to go ahead and join the front. Dragon can move back a little bit. And now we need to bring everyone in nice and close so that we can shoot over. Perfect. Nice and clean. What do you have? Steel hatchet, not too bad. We might end up giving that to Anders here over the... What have you currently got? You currently aren't holding anything. You're supposed to be holding an Iqua, but I guess you're not, so we'll steal that off you. Let's go ahead and strip. They had some cigarettes, another little bit of cloth padded armor, might be worth doing, and then also a steel hatchet. I'm going to equip that on Anders, jump into my loadouts, select the melee loadout, and say I would like that to be a hatchet instead, which is going to be in here. So you will carry a hatchet, and that should be good. Yeah, don't stop, force that, and you grab rearm. Stop. Rearm. Just take your weapon. Prioritize hauling it then. I guess. Hopefully that works out. Anders is also bleeding out in 10 hours, which I did not realize, but I think he'll be alright. A cut, and a cut to the right ear, the left eye, and the head. Anders is now unloading inventory, doing a bunch of stuff, grabbing some things. What did you grab? You still don't have the things that I need you to have. You also shouldn't have a quiver, because that just seems silly. I will immediately re-allow it. You are now resting. Just equip the steel hatchet. My goodness, it's not that hard. There you go. Here, perfect. Is that forced? And also, you are very heavy now. Bulk is... Okay, work speed factor is going to go down to 81%, but you can still move... Well, move speed factor is 84%. That's going to be fine. You'll be alright. We'll get you in there, and then we'll set Medic to go ahead and tend to you. Alright, now that that is all out of the way, we have some things we can build. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here to plan out where I want my base to be. I think I would kind of like it in this central area here. That seems to make the most sense to me. We can still keep it sort of close to the Animatree. Build maybe in this little section. I know that these aren't actually rocks, but we can use them in our defenses in the long run. So I'll do a little bit of planning here, and then we'll come back for the construction. Right, this is the general starting plan. We're going to have our kitchen, freezer, dining room / recreation room, and this is going to be storage and production for the time being. Then we have bedrooms for each of our colonists plus a few extras, all with their own little latrine, which I think will be good. The only thing left to go ahead and add is our wooden well, which can probably just live like down here somewhere. I think that'll be fine. We throw that in there. Nice and close enough to our bathrooms. And I think that should be good. Now, this is probably going to require a little bit more wood than I currently have. So I'm just going to do a chop wood command on our plans, basically. For right now, I think I will also go ahead and say don't allow. Where is that button? That is under orders. Allow? Is there a allow selection? No, of course there's not. So can I select it all? Yes, I can. I'm going to say do not allow any of that because I would like that to be done last. For right now, I'm going to do these bedrooms first, and we can go ahead and set up furniture in there, and we're going to do double sleeping spots in each of these. If I get it in the right spot, that would be lovely. Cancel that. Do that. That should be fine. So we're going to have Dragon and Medic in one, and then we're not going to have quite enough. So we do need to at the very least allow those, and then we can throw down one more bed in there, and that should be absolutely fantastic. So they should slowly but surely start working on that. Construction is going to be a priority now for Greg and Ilarius. They are doing that before anything else, so that should get done nice and quickly, and we'll come back once they've completed at the very least most of the construction, or if something else happens in the meantime. Alright, we had an encouraging tribal gathering, 8 points per, but we also got some pigs joining us. So if we jump to location, looks like it's just the 2 pigs, which is fine. We have a male and a female. They will get added to our pen, and we can manage auto slaughter on those. So I think I would like 2 of each on the adult variety, and then I'm going to say 1 of each. No, let's go 2 of each for the child variety. The rest will get slaughtered and eaten, which will hopefully once again improve our little food situation that we have going on over here. We currently have 2 out of 24 available. We have a little bit of starvation. We might need to go ahead and assign another little bit of hunting here. I think that's probably a good idea. And we also now have 20 anima grass around our Animatree, so we can begin linking. And just because of how scary the early game is with raids and things, I'm actually going to link Medic to the tree. I'm going to do that immediately, and that is going to give them their first levels of psycasting ability. So as soon as they're linked, I'll explain how all that works. Alright, linking ritual is complete. Medic is now linked to the Animatree and have access to Psycasts. Now, this is going to look a little different to the Psycasts you are used to, unless, of course, you're using vanilla Psycasts expanded. This just lets us choose what we want a little bit better. Now, there are a lot of options, and I haven't really explored all of them, but I do know that I want to unlock Protector on Reefing Medic over here because I would like the word of healing. Psychically stimulates a person's regenerative capabilities into overdrive, effectively tripling their natural healing factor for a few days. After that, we'll also get Word of Immunity, which psychically stimulates a person's immune system into overdrive, effectively nearly doubling their immunity gain for a few days. So that is going to help us out so much in the short term, I should say. So we now have Word of Healing. We need to continue doing meditation in order to unlock more points, but that will slowly but surely happen over time. This now resets to 6 anima grass, and eventually, once we get another 20 built up, we can go ahead and do more rituals. We can either link someone else, or we can continue linking with Medic to increase their level, but that is going to be absolutely fantastic. And it looks like our storage room for food is pretty much done, so I want to set that up as soon as possible. I'm going to do a stockpile zone in here because we still don't have any storage solutions. And this is going to store nothing but fresh food. And actually also fresh animal corpses is probably a good thing to get in here as well. And then we can set up this butcher table with butcher creature forever. So we can now stop doing that down here. We can actually just delete that. And then this requires steel, which we don't actually... Oh, we have 75, so someone has been mining up here. Once we get a little bit more of that, I actually think that is the last part we need. Also, you can be allowed, just randomly lying around dead. So that can now be allowed, and we can get this done so that we no longer have to cook at the campfire. We're still going to be cooking at the campfire for a little bit, so I won't completely disallow all the food to be out here, just so that it's closer to the campfire. But yeah, things are slowly moving in the way of progress. We have a medical emergency with medic. He has malnutrition? Is that really the only thing? Whole body malnutrition. I can't see what that other thing is, but I think it's just malnutrition. I don't know why that would be considered a medical emergency unless they just passed out somewhere. Oh, now it's life-threatening. Okay. I guess I was clicked on the wrong person. Who has food on them? You don't. You don't. You don't. You don't. You don't. And you don't. Okay. Fantastic. We have no food on us. Dragon is currently cooking, so as soon as that is cooked, because that's currently at 82%, we are going to immediately feed that to medic. That's not good. That's not good at all. All right, Dragon, you go and feed. Oh, you're not assigned to doctoring. Of course you're not. Who is a doctor? Hilarious. Hilarious, can you please prioritize feeding medic before they die? We really don't want to lose medic. He is our medic. Yep, that's all absolutely fantastic. We do have a little bit more food being cooked up because we have 73 meat in storage. I'm going to let Dragon finish cooking that all out here, and then I'll switch everything over to the new fueled stove. Living in modern times here, people. Alright, I think it's probably about time that we switch this over. Also, we might not have enough wood for everything that we need. Oh, well, we're still cutting all of this. It will be fine. So, the easiest way to do this is with a mod that I have. So, I have this mod called Mince Menus, I think it is. And we can go ahead and open up the campfire, open up the fueled stove, and just simply copy and paste the bills from the fire into the stove and remove them from the fire. So that is going to be really, really helpful. The other thing that I do want to do is go ahead into furniture and get some wall torches in these rooms so they aren't quite so dark. We probably shouldn't be putting them in the fridge, but I mean, everything's hot at the moment anyway, so really it's not going to matter all that much. I'd also then like someone to prioritize working on said torches. The one in the fridge probably doesn't matter nearly as much, but the other two do. And then I'll go into this storage here and say no longer allow food, and we currently aren't allowing corpses anyway, but I do need to go ahead and remove that corpse zone down there. Does that include fish? I believe it does. Yes, it does. Fantastic. And then since this isn't cold yet, I am going to hold these doors open because there really isn't any reason not to, and it'll just slow them down. But we did want separated rooms in there. So we'll get those torches built. Someone should hopefully... Who is our cook? Cook is going to be... Well, you should be doing that at priority 2 now because things are looking a little scary. But Dragon can come over here. You're already cooking. Okay, perfect. Get some stuff in the oven and get our people fed. We also do have more options in here now because we have an actual stove. I'll go ahead and look through those at some point, but for right now, we're just going to stick with the simple meals. Now that we have a couple of bedrooms built as well, we can start assigning our colonists to them. So Dragon and Medic are going to go in that top one. We will just throw the rest on whoever wants them. So I'm going to remove these so that I can actually see who still needs a bed. Go to here and we'll say you can be Anders, you can be Greg, you can be Ilarius, and you can be Toxic because this should be done relatively soon. And you're already sleeping outside anyway. This floor painting never got done, so I'm just going to cancel it because why not? And we'll continue on. We also had a bunch of ducks hatch in our kitchen. That normally wouldn't be a problem, but they're going to eat all our food. They are going to eat all of our food. I did go ahead and unallow fertilized eggs in here. I forgot the first time. Yeah. Maybe we can grab Medic. I know they're one of the people. And prioritize hauling ducklings. Maybe you'll do a bunch of them. Yeah, while they're sleeping before they eat all of our food. Who else is on handle? That is Medic and Toxic. Toxic, get in here. Prioritize roping ducklings. Get them all out. I just don't want them eating everything. They shouldn't be in there. Alright, our construction is mostly complete at this point. We're still waiting on a couple of wall torches, but that is absolutely fine. We can now take our storage zone over here and expand it into this new space, which is going to make such a difference. We can also take our crafting station over here and throw it down in there, and we can do the exact same thing for our seed packing spot. That is going to sit right there for the moment. We still don't have benches for those two things, but that is going to be so much better than what we had before. The only other thing that I want to do in here is make sure that we are hauling all of the rocks and things out of here, because I don't want them in there, and I also don't want them in my pathways. So we're going to haul those. They'll end up over here for the moment, but that's going to be absolutely fine. And then we can basically say delete that zone. And let me just double check that this is all configured properly. So we don't want corpses, we don't want plants, we don't want chunks in here. Items are fine. What's not allowed in items? Misc? Okay, everything is currently allowed in Misc, but apparently it's not. So weird. But that's fine. I don't want anything rotten in here. Not that anything should be anyway, but we also don't want foods, and that should be good to go. Manufactured drugs can probably go in here, but I guess not all of them, because some of them are considered to be food. I also don't want any medicine in here. I would like that to be herbal medicine, and yeah, that'll be fine. And then we can just make sure that we've got medicine in the fridge, and that should be good. I know this isn't technically a fridge yet, but it will be in the long run. And then we can just do a haul urgently on basically everything over here. I'll move those slabs as well, and that should be fine. Perfect. Okay. We just had a fungoid ship land. Let's see how far away. Okay, thankfully they aren't really in our way. This is part of a mod I haven't really explored yet. Let's just have a look. An ancient ship part torn off from an old space exploration craft, mostly destroyed on re-entry. It might be thousands of years old. This one may contain one or more of the remaining space crew. Governments used to send out crafts filled with immortal fungoids, wicked, twisted, experimental xenotypes that can survive the centuries-long space journeys. The fungoids on board have most likely lost their sense of self long ago. They must have been stuck in this spacecraft module for hundreds of years. So we can at some point attack that, and some stuff might come out. It looks like there is rot stink surrounding it, but otherwise it's really not doing a whole lot. So we might wait until, at the very least, we have bows that everyone can use because right now our range is very limited and I don't really want everyone standing in that rot stink. We also have a new quest available. We've intercepted a message about a collection of valuable items worth $833 not far from Paws Reach. The collection consists of 5 Eltex. I don't really need that right now. It seems 2 man-hunting hares are wandering nearby. There might be an unknown threat. Now, we could go ahead and do a caravan, but I really don't think we're quite set up for that just yet. We don't have the food, even a little bit. They aren't super far away. I am curious how long it would take to get there. We go from there to there. How does this work? Yeah, 0.58 days, so we could absolutely do it. It's just whether or not it's really of value to us. Eltex really isn't going to help us out that much yet, so I think I'll leave it for the meantime, but at least we know it's there, I guess. When everyone wakes up, I'm going to do another tribal ritual because I really would like to unlock bows and furniture so that we can start actually sleeping on beds and making some of our pawns just that little bit happier. It'll also unlock some recreational items, which will be very much appreciated. We have a local boombat going mad. That is actually a little bit scary. I will go ahead and recruit everyone for that, I guess. We'll draft them all, and I'm going to send them down into the water down here, just because I don't want it to explode. Hello, where are you going, Mr. Boomrat? Are you going to follow us down? There you go. All right, everyone get into the water, including you, Anders. I don't know why he stays behind. And then we'll slowly but surely start trying to attack him. This is going to blow up in our face, isn't it? This is 100% going to blow up in our face. Can we move faster than them? Oh, perfect. We just downed it. We didn't kill it. So that's great. I'm going to undraft everybody except for Toxic. Toxic, you come like way over here. And we are going to attack the Boomerang until it's dead. Perfect. Blew up. And then we can allow that, pull it urgently so that we can cook it up for some more food. But our food situation is looking so much better than it used to be. We now have 16 meals. This is actually, yeah, that counts equipped. So we actually have 25 meals available for our colonists. So no one is now starving. Someone needs rescue? What happened? What happened? You got cut by a great... Did we shoot? Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. I did not see that. Dragon got struck by Toxic's great arrow. That's really unfortunate. So we are going to rescue you. You're bleeding out in 2 hours? Really? Okay, we'll stabilize him first then. 1 hour, 2 hours to go, 6 hours, and then we'll get the rescue done. Bring him back up to the room and start tending Dragon. This is also a fantastic opportunity to try out our new abilities, although it might not be worth using just yet because, well, they've got extreme blood loss. Let's try it. Let's do Word of Healing on Dragon. That is going to take them out of bed, which is kind of annoying, and then rescue him, put him straight back into bed. But he has now Psychic Healing. Psychically induced healing boost of 300%, so he should heal up much faster than usual, which is going to be especially good for all of that blood loss. He also has serious heat stroke, which is just not good. We really need a way of dealing with heat. And in saying that, I'm thinking potentially we should start researching cotton seeds, which I think we can do because I believe there is some cotton on the map. How much do we get per harvest? We get 10 per harvest, so that should be fine. As long as we have 2 that are fully grown, we do. So harvest that, fully grown, harvest that, and then we can come back into our seed packing station and say cotton. We won't be able to do it yet until we've hauled some of that cotton in, but that should help us out in the long run as well. Dragon already fully healed, absolutely fantastic. I think the next thing that I want to do in this base is go ahead and at least get some floors down. Question is what? So packed dirt has a cleanliness of -1. I really would like straw matting in at least my butcher station and probably the kitchen as well. Unfortunately, that requires hay, and I don't know if there's anything on the map that actually gives me hay. Let me just have a look around for a little bit, and I'll come back once I figure that out. Alright, so I don't believe there's anything on this map that can give me hay. I guess we're going to have to wait for a traveler, or we could potentially set up an expedition to try and find some, but I don't think that's going to be worth doing. So instead, we might just go with a simple... Well, we could either go between a wood parquet, I don't know how you say that, or just a standard wood floor. This takes 3 wood, this takes 12. It is a lot nicer, but I think we'll just go with the standard wood floor. And for right now, I'm just going to do this building. They should knock that out pretty quickly. We have plenty of wood in storage for them to do that. And hopefully that'll just improve the cleanliness of these rooms, which in turn will reduce the risk of getting food poisoning. I can also at this point re-allow these so that we can start building that, and that should be good. We're also slowly but surely harvesting some tomatoes, which will also very much help in the long run with our food situation. I'm aware that I planted way more than I needed, but that's going to be absolutely fine. So as you can see now, these have been harvested, but they still have 64% growth, so they will regrow quite quickly. And this is going to be a lot of food. So we can now pretty much take anyone we want and be able to feed them without too many problems. Another uninspiring tribal gathering, but we did discover the bow, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, that is just the short bow. I'm not 100% sure where we get the real bow. I guess it's, yeah, recurve bow and then great bow. So for right now, I think we should absolutely go ahead and upgrade everyone to the... Oh, I never switched the crafting things over. That's my bad. Let me do that real quick before I get into this. So I would like you to make those. Keep making... Well, actually, no, you can stop making the throwing rocks. But keep the Tribalwear in there as well, and then we can delete both of them and delete that and delete that as well. Do we have any cotton yet? That is my question. I don't think so, but let me just quickly... Yes, we do. Apparently we do. I don't know where it is, but apparently we do. So we're going to start that, and then I'm going to start making... let's just search for it. That's going to be quicker. Make short bows. And I want to do that 1 per person plus X, and I'm just going to say plus 0. I guess we could just say 1 per person, but that'll be fine. And that is going to be anything over 51%, and I think I would like these to be at least normal. Count the ones that are currently equipped, take to best stockpile, and that should be good. And then we need to go ahead, Tribalwear can probably be last. This should probably be first, and then we'll also make normal arrows, because the great stone arrows won't work with the short bow. We need normal stone arrows. I'll prioritize that, and we'll say do X per person, and we'll say, I don't know, like 20 per person should be absolutely enough. And that should be good. Although we could probably just set this up as do X times, no, do until X, do until you have 20 but don't count equipped. Well, do until you have 50 but don't count equipped. That way we'll have 50 extra whenever we need them, no matter how many people have them. And I might do the exact same thing for the stone great arrows as well. If we go into details, don't count equipped, always have 30 extras, and that will be fantastic. All right, that is all set up and ready to go. Our next bit of research is going to be furniture, which we should get next time without any question at all, because we only have 2 points left to do it. I don't know if the overflow will go into culture or not, but I guess we'll see. So we'll come back once we're doing our next tribal ritual. We have new lovers again, but I recognize this name. Dragon tried to woo Greg, but I'm pretty sure Dragon and Medic were sleeping together. Yeah, they were. Dragon has officially ditched Medic and gone to Greg, so that is something to keep in mind. That recreation variety might come in handy at some point so that they stop sleeping with each other. Packaged cotton seed bundle is done though, so we need to get someone in here. Wait till someone comes in. Medic is close enough, and we can get them to open that if I can find it. It should be in here somewhere. There it is. And we can open that, and now we can start to plant cotton, which is going to be very, very helpful for dealing with all this heat. Because currently we don't have any way of cooling down our base. So we can go into zones, and we can do a growing zone. And where should we throw this? Cotton takes a while to grow. Let's probably get a little bit too close to the sand. I don't want anything too close up here. Maybe this little section up here could work. If we have a little bit of a farm, say 3 away from that, and something like that, and we can even expand it out just a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Something like that. That can be a nice little cotton field to start with. That is going to take 8 days, but that should be absolutely fine. I'm going to put that on low priority because I would always like them to focus on the tomato plants if there is a choice between the two, and that should be absolutely fantastic. All right, we have a pack of man-hunting hedgehogs. It looks like it might just be, well, actually, that's quite a few. That's actually a little bit scary. How are we doing for bows? Not great, because I didn't set up any priorities. So everyone's still got their throwing rocks. This might be an inside situation where we just bunker down. Yeah, that's a lot of hedgehogs. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hedgehogs. Do you think we can take them? Maybe. I don't know how fast they move. I think we've got to try. Let's drop a quick save. Emberclaw Clan, 2 mid. Save. Let's drop a quick save and try this, because if we all die, then I want to be able to come back. So I'm going to bring everyone down here to the water, as usual. These guys are going to come in. Looks like they didn't attack the wild men. That's interesting to note. I still don't understand why Anders decides to stop early. Does he have a... He's a rebel. Okay. So that's good to know. So we're going to bring everyone down here. I'm going to bring Anders to the front. Go there. Everyone else sort of come behind him. And we might even be better off going deeper into the water here. Again, bring Anders to the front. Everyone else nice and close. And wait for them to come down. I tried to rotate the camera. Alright, we've got our first shots off. He shoots pretty fast. We should probably be attacking the ones closer, but that's fine. That's 2 gone. Wow, there was more than I thought. There's another one gone. Another one. Alright, we might be okay. This water is really saving our bacon. Alright, that's another one. And last one. No one even got to us. I don't even know why I was worried. I'm going to allow all of them. Some of them will be, rotting because of the manhunter virus. But that's going to be fine. Everyone is allowed, and we can haul them where they need to go. We'll also say... Where's the alive one? You're bleeding out in 10 hours. Let's just finish you off real quick. And that should be absolutely fine. A little bit scary. A little bit scary. And then we can also start a new tribal gathering. And that's, of course it is, going to bring in a brand new raid. That was encouraging. We discovered furniture. Did that overflow into culture? No. So we just had an encouraging one that got us like, I don't know, 50 points. We only got 2 of those points. So that is unfortunate, but, it is what it is. And we also have a raid that is attacking immediately. You have a sling and you have a short bow, and I still haven't set up things for bows. How many bows do we have? If we come into this, none. Who is our crafter? You. You're doing construction first, that's why. Let's set you up to do crafting and tailoring first and do construction after that. That might help out a little bit. But I guess we're just going to have to fight these guys with what we currently have. So we're going to draft everyone again. And at least now we have a few little corridors where we can hide. So we'll set up in the middle of our base here, wait for these guys to come over. Looks like they're going to go in 2 different directions. You're probably going to go set fire to something up here, but that's fine. I'd rather take these guys on one at a time anyway. I'll bring Anders back and we'll bring Ilarius down to the front. Well, down to there is probably fine. Bring everyone in nice and close. You should hopefully come up here at some point. Nope, you're going a different way. Are you waiting for your friend? Because if you are, that's really rude. Bring everyone down. We'll sort of chase him around, I guess. This is the guy with the short bow, so he has a little bit more range than anyone else. If we set up everyone here, I can at the very least set Toxic to the corner, and he should be able to shoot around that corner and draw him in. We might even just be able to take him out with Toxic. Okay, Toxic ran out of arrows. So that's fantastic. That's really annoying. I need to get more arrows. Yeah. I guess we're doing a rush. Just surround him. Tackle him. Everyone's still up. Okay, he's down. How much damage did we take? Anders took a little bit. Cracked with the short bow. And you just have some bruises. That's not too bad. Where is the other guy? He's over there. He has the sling, which has a crazy range as well. So we're going to get everyone in here. And I'm going to send... Actually, for the moment, everyone go inside. Everyone just go inside. Chill out. Toxic, you are going to grab... what can you grab? Great arrows. Stone. Toxic. You take those. Perfect. Where'd the guy go? Over there. Perfect. Let's get everyone to come out this way. Toxic can come to the corner here and start taking pot shots. If you could please equip your great bow, that would be great. And then start taking pot shots. And then run away. Come back. Alright, perfect. That's suppression. Continue taking those pot shots. We're far less likely to get hit than he is, but at the same time, I think I am just going to send Anders up to attack. You come back for a second. There we go. He's down. Perfect. Alright, you just have the one injury. Everyone can now be undrafted. Red, do we want to recruit any of these guys? Because we now have that option with these extra rooms. Let's have a look. You are a psychopath, groundbreaker, annoying voice. That's not great, but construction and mining would be nice. You also have a little bit of a shooting skill. And Dinosaur down here is melee, which might be nice. He is greedy though, which I don't like. Crafting, social, medical... I don't think I want either of these guys. I actually didn't even check if I can recruit them. I can recruit you, and I can recruit you. I don't think it's going to be worth it. I'm just going to let them die on their own. Is Anders up to 6 melee yet? Yes, he is. Okay, perfect. So Anders, I'm going to draft you. I'm going to say strip. I'm going to say strip. And then I'm going to say finish off. And then I'm going to come down to Dinosaur. I'm going to strip. Allow everything on the map. And then finish off down here. Where is it? Finish off. Perfect. And then we can undraft. Absolutely fantastic. Got a bunch of stuff. I don't know if any of it's useful. Some slings. Another quiver. Some jade. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. You had some smoke leaf joints, short bow, wooden armor, and some more arrows. Okay, perfect. We'll get all of that stuff hauled into our storage shed, and then we should be pretty much good to go. We also have a quest for hosting a cave builder. Sextus Maxim senator of the Eastern Republic, is requesting a favor. His friend is interested in learning about other cultures and he wants to host him at Paws Reach for 12 days. He won't do any work. If he has an average mood above 50%, we'll get some extra goodwill. I don't think we need any of this stuff. The only thing that I might want is goodwill, but I don't think that's worth the food that we're going to have to spend on them to get that done. So I'm also going to cancel that one. We are being a very reclusive tribe at the moment just because everything is scary. The outside world is terrifying and we are still just establishing ourselves. Speaking of establishing ourselves though, we now finally have the opportunity to get some recreation up in our place here. So I'm going to set that up right there and we'll set a steel game of, no, a wooden one. That should also have been wooden. Cancel that. I don't want to use my steel on that. We can set this up in here and go ahead. And now that we actually have furniture, we can actually get some seats, which will be lovely. So we have a stool, I think might be our only option, or sitting cushion. And that will be out of leather or, you know, any material that we currently have. I don't really want to use any of my leather on that, so we might for the moment stick with just the stool, I guess. It's not going to be much better than anything else, but it's going to be something at the very least, and we can replace all of those as well. Get a stool at our workstations, and that should be good. All right, that is fantastic. I'm very excited to no longer have the no recreation need being lit up constantly. We've got Greg collapsed and Toxic collapsed. They just have a little nap. They'll be fine. And we might call it there. In the very next episode, we should be able to unlock culture, start furnishing up our base with different things. We still don't have a lot of stuff available to us, but we have a little bit more than we did before. Let's just quickly take a look at furniture. Yeah, not a ton. We can now build tables, but really not a whole lot else. And sitting cushions. So once our cotton has grown up, we might be able to get them into our base. But for right now, we're going to leave it there. If you guys are enjoying this series, please make sure to go ahead, leave a like, leave a comment for the sake of engagement. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Consider becoming a Golden Panda member if you would like your name in the game. Links are all down in the description below. But until next time, happy building, happy surviving. Bye, guys.